We are used to dealing with the cold weather in the D.C. area, but some people are quite surprised that we received this blast this early. Tom Rousey continues our live team coverage from the Lincoln Memorial. Tom.
And as Steve said, Kenneth, the winds are dying down somewhat, but it is still awfully cold, especially for this time of year. How cold was it today? 21 degrees below average at this hour at the Lincoln Memorial behind me. Normally, no matter what time of the night it is, you'll see folks hanging out on the steps there. There's no one there. This cold is scaring a lot of people away, but still, many did find things to do outside tonight. Ironically, one of the best ways to stay warm tonight was to get on the ice.
If you continue to skate around, you won't feel it.
So you feel warm as we speak right now?
I am, except for my toes.
It was so cold it affected the Zamboni at the Pentagon City Outdoor Rink. Harry Tran spent about 12 hours, most of it outside, getting it to work right.
Try to stay outside, make sure the machine's running. That's the brutal part.
Today was almost 10 degrees colder than the average high in mid-January, which is the coldest time of the year around here. And in D.C., it's not the cold, it's the wind chill. And today saw gusts of up to 45 miles an hour. But that didn't stop people from going outside tonight, in some cases in shorts.
Under 20 is my cutoff.
Where Jonathan Blair grew up, tonight wouldn't be so bad.
I'm from Alaska, and so I'm not that cold ever. I mean, it's not that cold unless the wind's whipping, to me at least.
Now, if you're from outside Anaheim, California, you don't necessarily see it that way. It does not get this cold there, right?
No, not at all. No. But we've got layers, so we're warm. And as long as you keep moving, we're fine.
These soccer players took that to heart, not letting the cold keep them from playing, even though that ball had to sting. And again, the cold keeping people away from places like the Lincoln Memorial tonight, where normally, even at night, you see folks hanging out. Just met some tourists from Florida a little bit ago. Man, were they ready to get back inside. Again, it's not like we never see cold like this in D.C. It's fairly normal, but what is totally abnormal is to have it before Thanksgiving. Live tonight in Southwest, I'm Tom Rousey, ABC 7 News.
Yeah, and Tom, we're not alone in experiencing these conditions. Several states are dealing with snow and ice, making for a big mess on the road. Take a look at this. A storm chaser captured some dramatic video in Oklahoma City. You can see an SUV sliding on ice, then rolling over. Wow. Several cities have sand trucks out to treat the slippery roads. At Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, crews spent the day spraying de-icing fluid on runways and planes. More than 300 flights were canceled there today alone. Stay with ABC 7 and WJLA.com as we track the storm system and what we'll see in the coming days. Steve will have an updated forecast in just a few minutes, and be sure to follow meteorologists Jackie Jarris and Eileen Whalen on Good Morning Washington tomorrow. We want to get to our other big story that has been developing throughout the weekend now. Friends gathered in Cheverly tonight to remember a U.S. Postal Service worker. He was killed while delivering mail last night. 26-year-old Tyson Barnett was shot to death along his route on Reed Street. Jeff Goldberg is live in Cheverly, where he attended tonight's vigil. Jeff.
Well, Candace, police officers and letter carriers alike cannot remember a case like this ever happening in this area before. A wreath lies on the stop sign here near where Tyson Barnett was shot and killed last night. Letter carriers say, unfortunately, it is far too common to be delivering mail after dark in areas like this with few street lights and few sidewalks. They say they don't want it this way, but to get the job done, they have no choice.
He, is part of our family.
Ask any U.S. mail carrier here tonight, and they will tell you what happened to Tyson Barnett could have happened to them.
Man, I was heartbroken.
Stanley Johnson was Barnett's one-time supervisor and a friend.
Mr. Barnett was a wonderful person, the kind of person that would do anything for you.
According to police, Barnett, just 26 years old from Upper Marlboro, was shot and killed Saturday evening on Reed Street in Cheverly while delivering the mail.
I was in my bedroom. I heard one shot, and then I heard 6.
It happened at around 7:15, long past sunset. Police have no suspects or motives.
I don't even know him to even bother anybody, so I wouldn't expect something like this to happen.
Letter carriers say there is no reason Barnett or any carrier should have to be working in the dark.
When it gets dark, I get scared.
Especially in areas with few curbside mailboxes, requiring carriers to do the job on foot.
It's dark, there's no lights, there's no sidewalk. There's a safety issue.
Union representatives say stations are understaffed and starting times are too late, forcing carriers to cover too much ground too late in the day. They say they love doing their jobs and will forever remember Tyson Barnett, a man who also loved doing his.
He's a person that will be truly missed.
He will not be forgotten as a letter courier, period.
The U.S. Postal Service is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in this case, and they are working very closely with Prince George's County Police to try and solve this murder. Meanwhile, letter carriers and their union representatives will now be making a major push for safety improvements. Live in Chevrolet, Jeff Goldberg, ABC 7 News.
All right, Jeff, we're going to stay in Maryland to Annapolis, specifically where police are investigating whether one man is connected to several burglaries. Investigators released surveillance photos of the suspect. Police say one burglary took place early Friday morning at the Jerry's Subs and Pizza on Bay Ridge Road. Then last night, 5 additional burglaries took place within minutes of each other. Officers say an early 2000-style green or blue minivan with silver trim was seen in the area of the break-ins. If you know anything, you're encouraged to call police. President Obama is in Seattle tonight for the start of a major fundraising trip out west. The president will make 7 appearances over the next 3 days. He's expected to raise millions for the Democratic Party and candidates running in next year's midterm elections. The White House says that the president called Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu while he was traveling to the West Coast. It was to discuss the deal with Iran over its nuclear program. Netanyahu is one of several leaders expressing doubt that Iran can be trusted. ABC's Chuck Sievertson has more.
It was hugs and kisses in Geneva, Switzerland, as Secretary of State John Kerry and other foreign ministers congratulated one another on the deal. It was concluded in the middle of the night after marathon negotiations that included secret high-level diplomacy carried out over the past year. On ABC's This Week, Secretary Kerry defended the deal, which does not require Iran to dismantle its nuclear program.
We will be negotiating the dismantling. We will be negotiating the limitations. But you can't always start where you want to wind up.
Under the plan, Iran agrees to freeze its nuclear program and open its nuclear facilities to daily inspection by international officials. In return, the Tehran regime gets $6 to $7 billion in relief from international sanctions battering its economy and no new sanctions. And the deal is temporary, a stopgap whose terms are only for 6 months. Any more comprehensive deal is expected to be much tougher.
For the first time in nearly a decade, we have halted the progress of the Iranian nuclear program, and key parts of the program will be rolled back.
But the pact brought a sharp rebuke from Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, calling it a historic mistake and a step forward in Iran's quest to build nuclear weapons, which Iran denies doing. Netanyahu pointedly added that Israel is not bound by the deal. Some Republicans are also skeptical.
Now is just not the time to ease sanctions when they are working.
So
we've got all the leverage in the negotiation, and we've let them out of the trap.
While in Iran, their negotiating team returned home to a hero's welcome. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News, New York.
So what is next in this historic deal? In our next half hour on Washington Weekly, we'll get some perspective from Politico. A huge yet controversial reveal at the Vatican today. Ahead at 11, how it's tied to the very first pope. Plus, gas prices are on the rise right before the holiday travel rush. And have you seen this video? It's the dance-off that's gone viral. We're going to hear from the child who traded moves with an usher.